What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your Brewmaster in Chief. And tonight in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with a bit of a doozy. It is gonna be weird when it comes to the end of the video as far as statistics, because I've done so many versions, deleted, remade. I guess I'll just pour over some of the stats at the end and see where we had the best runs and what were the cards that I took in and put out or whatever to get to where I am now. Regardless of statistics, the deck is very unique and plays a lot of cool new cards and some older ones that didn't see any play until I think finally now, especially of course considering the mana base improvements with the new enemy fastlands. Something is happening here. Again, we're in the early days. All of these brews that I've been showing you over the last few days, except for perhaps the Dimir one from yesterday, you know, they're all going to need a bit of refining. But the concept is there. The core idea is good, and I cannot wait to continue to refine this one in particular because it's right up my alley. Of course, we've got some terrible matchups. I mean, every deck should have at least one bad one. But in best of one, you know, you flip the coin and you see who goes on the play, that sort of thing. This is a deck that we should probably just concede if the opponent's playing any copies of temporary lockdown. But considering the fact that Boros Convoke has pewtered off in this first week of the meta because everybody's trying new things, there's a lot less control. That having been said, and I know this is a long-winded introduction, but I just want to make sure I've covered all my bases. I've been winning a lot with both of the last brews that I've made, plus off camera with some of the ones that I've still lined up for the rest of the week. I've been winning a lot. I was in 89, 87% Mythic. I'm right back into 97. I've just been on a bit of a streak with all of my brews over the last couple of days. So suddenly I've sort of been banging my head against the ceiling of like heavy control, big ass control mage energy, like just really, really disappointing. I thought we could live without that sort of a matchup for a little while longer, because it always eventually rears its ugly head once people get settled into a new meta. But it is what it is. I still think it's a fantastic concept, and I cannot wait to show you. So, without further ado, let's jump into tonight's brew. Simply called IzzeTifacts. IzzeTifacts version 2.0. And for those of you who've been keeping a close eye on the new art, you may know what card is on the deck box here. Should probably come as no surprise to those of you who've been following me for a while. I did even mention it in my top 10 video. Legion Extruder. I can't wait to try this in all sorts of other combinations. I'm thinking Boros with the Moon Smithy. I think this will go right in there. There's that Poetic Ingenuity, I think the card is called. Poetic. I'll get to the deck, I promise. Yeah, Poetic Ingenuity. This, Moon Smithy. Something's brewing. Keep your eyes on the channel. It won't be long before it goes up. But as far as this take with Izzet, getting to play some of the older cards that I was talking about earlier in the introduction that never saw any play, namely Invasion of Kaladesh. I don't think you've maybe even ever seen this cast. I've never cast it, and I've never had it cast against me ever. It just wasn't really. Now, suddenly, this thing is actually one of my main win cons. When ETBs makes a little Thopter, different to Yotia, where the Thopter is an 0-2, this one makes a 1-1. And important to note, the vehicle side, when you flip it, when you take the defense counters off of the battle, it turns into this Golden Wing flagship that has crew 1. So that's actually very important for like sort of a post-sweeper comeback where, you know, we've got all of these creatures, normal creatures, Spyglass Siren, Gleaming Geardrake, the Golems, things that are going to be made by our artifacts. The 4/4 flyer that a solved case of the Filched Falcon will get you. Where's the other one? Well, you know, anything that you put your Zoetic Glyph onto, and it's going to be mostly map tokens, if I'm going to be honest. These things will get swept up, but the tokens that you've generated along the way, unless the opponent, again, like I said in the introduction, is playing temporary lockdown, which is a problem. But in best of 3, you could run, you know, bounce cards, counter spells, whatnot. Could actually mean that. By the way, Pro Tour Thunder Junction next weekend. Everybody's brewing their hearts away. All the pros. I cannot wait to see what they bring to the table. It's going to be really interesting to see. But like I was saying, all of those little tokens will stick around after a sunfall. And we can then just untap, make a Mirrex token, little might token with Mirrex, and that'll just crew your either wing, and you can still continue to apply pressure in the air after a sweeper, and it'll still be quite strong because its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. So we need to make as many little artifacts as possible. And there's many reasons for that, aside from the Golden Scale flagship. Reason number 1, reason number 2 is the second chapter of Yotia here. You can tap any number of artifacts to deal damage to equal to the amount, number that you tapped to creature or planeswalker. Really nice little bit of removal, actually, in a deck that isn't so heavy on it. But when you actually start to look at everything, it's not too bad as far as removal either. I mean, we've got a 3 damage threshold with Torch the Tower, and we can sacrifice one of these little map tokens to do the maximum damage. I'm trying my best over the last few brews. I've mentioned it recently in the Dimir deck to run as few cards that are going to rotate soon-ish, because I'm bored of those cards, and because I'm trying to provide you guys with fresh brew ideas now that will survive after the rotation hits. So the only cards in this entire deck that are not rotation proof are the Crucible of Defiance and Soaring City. Everything else is rotation proof. But if you want to make the deck probably a little stronger, maybe consider running Voltage Surge over Torch the Tower, because it goes up to 4 damage at that point instead of 3. But the trade-off, 1 less damage, but you get to exile the thing, and you get to do a little scry action. I thought, let's give this one a try. Reasons why we want to be sacrificing artifacts. That's the second sort of little mini archetype within the deck. So, a payoff for bargaining away one of your map tokens. Not only will you be getting more damage off your Torch the Tower, but you'll also be growing your Gleaming Geardrake from Card of Mana. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on Gleaming Geardrake. Of course, most of these artifacts sacrifice themselves. Map tokens, tap, sack, grows your... it's so nice, the little synergy when you sack a map token to target the Gleaming Geardrake, which will make it bigger if it's not a land on the top. But it'll just automatically get bigger because of its static line. So then you can imagine how quickly this can get out of hand. If the opponent's tapped out and you got a bunch of mana and a bunch of map tokens, this thing can get huge. The other nice thing about all of these creatures that it doesn't really at first glance appear we have any other than Spyglass Siren and Geardrake. Other than Spyglass Siren, they're all dodge, go for the throat, which is still the premier 2 mana black removal spell. So that's also really nice. This is an artifact creature. Other way that we're going to be putting +1/+1 counters on the Geardrake, continuing on what I was saying about the little sort of sacrifice sub-theme, is the Legion Extruder. You can pay 2, tap it, sacrifice another artifact, create a 3/3 Golem. So not only will you be getting a Golem, you'll also be growing your Gleaming Geardrake. This thing also does 2 damage when it enters the battlefield. So between Torch the Tower, Legion Extruders ETB, the second chapter of Yotia Declares War, and a full playset of the new Scorching Shot, which does 5 damage to target creature for 2 red mana. Nice, clean, simple removal. I don't know if maybe there's something we could run that's better than this, honestly, but I just wanted to, again, try to play as many new cards as possible. and there's still plenty of Sheldreds and Adelines and things running about. Nice to have access to a very cheap 5 damage, boom, out of the way. You know, the Convoke Knight, Errant of Eos thing. There's so many good targets for it, so I'm going to give this one a whirl. I think I've done enough talking. There's only one new, really important new card that I haven't touched on, and it is the Worldwalker Helm, another one of these ones from the big score. This is one of our main engines in ensuring that we constantly have a good stream of little tokens as fodder for all of the aforementioned synergies. Whenever you create any artifact token, you'll instead create those tokens plus an additional map token. Just constantly making little map tokens, and then the nice thing here is you can pay to tap it and create a token, a copy of another artifact token you control. So, you know, once you've got one of these golems, they just keep coming, and you know, these just feed off of each other, right? So you tap, copy the golem. When the golem enters the battlefield, you'll make a new map. And then the next turn, you can tap the Legion Extruder to make another golem, and then that'll make another map. You know what I'm saying? These two together are just chef's kiss. And then last but not least, we've got Zoetic Glyph. It's just great, right? If it dies, it's kind of alongside the Invasion of Kaladesh here in terms of a way to get back on board after a sweeper, because whatever you've enchanted it onto will die, and it goes into the graveyard, and you get to discover 3. Everything in the deck is 3 mana or less, so you'll get always something good, and that's fantastic. And that's the deck. I think I've done enough talking. There's one last line I just want to quickly mention. Turn 1, Case of the Filched Falcon, makes a clue. Turn 2, Gleaming Geardrake, it's an artifact and makes an artifact. Boom. Turn 2, solves case. Turn 3, play a land, make the 4/4 flyer. All of these things, the 4/4 flyer from the Falcon, the 4/4 that you can get for a turn off of the 3rd chapter of Yotia. All of these things, the Zoetic Glyph onto any map token, they'll immediately flip an Invasion of Kaladesh into golden scale flagship. So lots going on, lots of moving parts. I'm still not like super good at playing it. I've been playing a lot of it, like I said, but lots of different versions that led to this. I'll show you some stats from everything when we get to the end. That's it. That's enough talking. Let us jump right into some games and see how the deck holds up on the Mythic ladder. 96% or around those parts Mythic. Straight back up from, you know, the mid-80s. So I'm doing something right this set. And to be honest, it is really my cup of tea. Lots of combo stuff, lots of aggro stuff. We haven't... and I'm just kind of waiting for all the hype to die down, because I think I just saw Ash Lizzle posted one a short time ago. Ooh, perfect time. The mono black skeletons aggro. You would have thought a mono black skeleton aggro deck that's based on enchantments. It's really bonkers to even think of a deck like that existing, but it kicks absolute ass. Like, that's another one that I've just been completely destroying people with. Top deck city, baby. This could... It's probably Prophet's Eidetic Memory, the one I just put up yesterday. Maybe the little bat guy is coming down next. This, I think, once the meta shakes out, it's going to be one of the better decks in the format. Which is crazy to me. Yeah, let's go another red here. And I think instead of playing into a counter spell, let's just try and grow our Siren. Could be that flashing guy. Oh. Okay. I was not expecting that. This is terrible. I hate this deck. I think Toxic is really just so annoying. Thankfully, didn't really, you know. Okay, it's time to take a risk and see if he's running counter magic. Wouldn't be surprised if he is. Oh, all right. Yes. Now what are you gonna do? I mean, this deck has like a silly card that bounces stuff and proliferates. Other than that, I think we're doing fairly well here in terms of number of poison counters compared to opponent's life total. He's probably just desperately digging for more black sources. There it is. What you got? Okay, nothing. Oh, yes. Let's do this at instant speed during the opponent's turn. Pretend we have a counter spell or something. Again, but another great thing about this opponent points removal at my thing. I freaking immediately sack it to these. You know, it's just so nice. Do you have sweepers in the deck, or what are you doing here? It's possible. Totally possible. Okay. Loses 2 life. Only on 3. I guess now he's got that counter spell that he can just counter anything. But I will sack the map token rather. Get a little +1/+1 action. Okay, let's see if he counters this. Pilly Bilgrim. Okay, cool. Oof. Yeah, let's go map. Bam. I'm in love with this deck. Sorry, and no proliferate for you, my friend. Okay. Lame. Okay. You're doing well, my friend. Or this is Zoetic Glyph's time to shine. Six? Oh my god. I swear, if we lose to this, get freaking stuffed. I used to kind of be like, oh, why is no one playing Toxic Dimir? No. Lately, I've been running into all kinds of Toxic decks, like in every color combination. I am done with it. It's such a cheat. Anyone can win like that. My life total's still super high, but you're just putting these little poison counters on me. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And that damn, what's it called? The Rot Priest. So many decks around that, and I think it'll continue to be a thing, because it's obviously, I mean, it wins. It wins a lot, and it's having, the Bant version had a bit of a comeback. I just read Frank Carsten's article about the Pro Tour that's coming up, and he obviously goes always really deeply into the stats of all the articles that he writes. And he went and looked at, is this gonna be dinos or just, oh yeah, it's dinos. And it's like things from various events around the whole interwebs and paper, and from the last couple of months. Lol. This will allow us to do a very big removal. Sorry, I was talking about Frank Carsten. It's like stats from a bunch of different events around the internet. Could that even be? And Bant Toxic was like up there in the top, you know, top tiers. Okay. Here we go. Do we go face or not? Let's see. I think I'm gonna go boom, boom, boom. I completely lost my point. Bye. And we get a discover trigger. OMG, I love this deck so much. This is now, you know, going to be a 5/4 in the air that we can crew with a Thopter. Bye. Man. Sticking into the high 90s with this one, huh? You know, okay, I did make my point. It was about Bant Toxic and Toxic in general. It was one of the top ones, like in the top 10. Top 6, I want to say. By the way, definitely worth reading that article. The guy's a beast. I mean, he's a MTG data crunching machine. His spreadsheets and everything are just so detailed, and the amount of data points that he puts into the set is very telling. Like what he picks to go in there really informs you about, you know, whatever he's talking about. And in this case, it was all just focusing on the meta game of this tournament that's coming up. It's gonna be a good one. Oh, okay. This matchup. Whew. I think we just drop this guy. See what's up. He might just do the plotting of the little birdie. What? Also a amazing. Let us use the extruder here to deal with you. Then we can play the Geardrake and then sack map to do Mac 3 damage to something if necessary. Guess he'll get rid of the Siren. Do we block? Yeah, we block. Nice. Wasn't a monstrous rage, so that's cool. Now, we don't do this right away, of course, right? We just play our Geardrake and chill. And hopefully he tries to go for... Okay, he's got to play with fire. So in this case, we don't have to bargain away our precious map. We'll just get rid of this flyer. Good. And we can hopefully do some Zoetic Glyph shenanigans. On a red opponent is running low on cards. Do you have Monstrous Rage in hand? Is that your final card? Would not be surprised. Huh? Alrighty. Double Glyph, baby! They don't run a braid in this deck. I know that for a fact. I just hate being on the back foot like this. I'm used to applying the pressure. But that's okay. Let's see. Maybe it's someone still playing the old-fashioned vampire adversary thingy. 5 mana. Okay. We chump. We be chumping. What's he got? Just to play with fire? Sheh. What do we chump? That is the question. Maybe he goes face with it? I would go face. Hopefully he goes... I mean, yeah, he won't. Because he wants to attack and have me lose my map. So I'll block the 3/3 and get a discover trigger. And imagine if we discover into a Legion Extruder that'll take out... Oof. But that is just a thing of beauty right there. Only 1 life lost there from the... Okay. On a red opponent is in top deck mode. We've managed to get to this point while still having 7 life available. I'm assuming he drew another adversary. Stop playing these cards, please. I mean, fine, dude. Again, who am I to tell you what you should not play? But we're about to start to apply some serious pressure now. Extruder, boom, boom, boom. Copy the Golem, grow the Geardrake. We're doing the thing. And 5/4 is nice against mono red. It's like Adeline vibes. Especially a 5/4 that dies and finds you another thing. The Zoetic Glyph is so sick. I knew it. He won't swing. Will he? Let's see why he would. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. 8/4. I don't like that. Oh, it's my turn. Yes, yes, people. What do you get? No swings. Let's save that. Ooh. Hello. Okay, so a lot of these are pain lands. Need to really watch that. Okay. No. What am I doing? What are you doing? Okay, now that's pushed my hand. I have to use it. Five life, total of 9 damage. I mean 9 toughness there blocking. Sent freaking packing, mate. Oh, it's stuff, mono red. It's still an incredible force in the meta. The slick shot show off thing is such a card, and I love playing with it. So you know, again, I'm also a bit of a mono red mage myself, but it always feels nice to beat him. How are we doing for time? 29 minutes in. I think that that's gonna have to be it because I still want to get into some stats as promised. Boop. So 6'2", is that right? Has it updated itself for the most recent version? Yeah, 6'2". This was a misplay because my son came into the room. This one he beat me, so I'm gonna call it 7'2". No, sorry. What's that? 7 for 1. But again, this isn't it, right? I had other versions. Just quickly show you my profile here. Of course, as always, these lists are all available for you guys in every freaking place. 14 for 8 with the other one. Yeah, no. Like I said, been Quick Bones, 18 for 4. Dimir Duelist, 14 for 3. IzzeTifacts, a combined 14, 17, 19, 20, 20 for 10. You know, whatever the reason is, after the first little few days of the meta, I've just been on this sort of gigantic upward trend with almost everything I'm playing. So I'm loving it. Jumping back into the deck with some final thoughts. Overall, a review. I don't think we did very much with Invasion of Kaladesh there. You'll just have to take my word for it. It is worth its spot in the deck. There was one game there where we flipped it, and then I think the opponent conceded. But it's a really fun little card. Things that I omitted that I think going forward, let's see, right? Create a token that's a copy of an target creature or artifact you control, except an artifact gains. No. Sacrifice at the beginning of your next step. Right? The only thing is it's not an artifact itself. I don't know. But there's definitely something to this one. And then, of course, the 4-mana Saheeli makes 2, and then you get this emblem with artifact creatures you control, get +1/+1 artifact. Like, yes. But this deck only has 22 lands. I don't know. There's so many things that could have gone in here. Like, I feel like this archetype is like well and truly primed to do something cool. There's so many things going on. Like the belligerent, I thought even was close to putting it in. This detective satchel investigates twice for 4 mana, and then you just tap and make a Thopter. Tap and make a Thopter. And you can do that anytime you've sacrificed an artifact. Since you're already kind of doing that for a lot of reasons, like, yes, please. There's so many sweet cards. At some point, I tried a version with this harried Dronesmith. It's 4 mana though, but it felt a little bit like a worse. Oh my god. Think Lone Fox. It felt a bit like a worse Urabrask's Forge. It makes a little thing every combat, and then you sack it. But the Forge doesn't make an artifact. It makes those terror tokens, horrors. This makes a Thopter. So it sacrifices itself. So hello, Gleaming Geardrake. It just wasn't enough of synergy just to like put this bit of a clunky weird creature at a 4-drop slot, only to make the Gleaming Geardrake better, so it didn't make the cut. Franco's Buzz Cutter, there were so many things that were close. I think we just need to continue to work on all of these things, and I promise you, there's a really, really good IzzeTifacts deck somewhere in here, and I think the stats and the gameplay footage should be enough to prove to you that that is definitely the case. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be seeing you all in the next one with another fresh brew. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.